When Jesus said, if you have a little bit of faith, you can move mountains, he was actually talking about a specific mountain and a specific person. And yes, I've got pictures. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. Okay, so you know I'm a deep skeptic. I will tell you that this is not like the universal interpretation of all of this, but it's really interesting because it centers around something that everybody in that time would have been really familiar with. So there was this guy, Herod the Great. He's the Herod that is mentioned in the birth narrative of Jesus. And Herod the Great was like built all of these incredible structures all over the thing. The problem is his faith was deeply in question. His faith was in question for a number of reasons. First off, he was an Idumean, which Jewish people didn't consider like actually legitimately Jewish. They were like forcibly converted and that kind of stuff. And then in order to actually make his Jewishness more legitimate, he married an important woman in something called the Hasmonean dynasty, which means that like it was like the super Jews at the time, and people did not like that. They didn't think that he fixed it, and he did something amazing. He expanded the temple in Jerusalem to a massive size, but he also built temples to pagan gods, and so they would be like, yeah, he kind of has faith, but it's tiny. But he did have the ability to build huge things. One of the places he built was called Herodium. This is what it looks like. It didn't always look like that. Herodium was originally a mountain. And when Herod decided to build that mountain, or build that structure, he leveled the mountain. He moved the top of it from one place to another so that he could build his whole Herodium structure, which eventually they think that he was entombed there. So Herod, a man that everybody thought had a little bit of faith, moved a mountain. Now again, this is not the 100% academic consensus, but this connection is plausible because Jesus would be referencing something that was well known, right? This idea that Herod the Great moved the mountain. It had just been completed just a little while before Herod's death in 4 BCE, maybe about 5 to 10 years before that. And it would have been like an amazing thing that somebody had done. They had moved a mountain in order to build a structure. And so when Jesus says this in that setting amongst Jewish people, what that would mean, what Jesus would be saying is that like, look, any of you can do really big things because you have way more faith. It was an encouragement. It was an empowerment to tell them that, hey, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be some sort of rock star religious person to do important things with your faith.